This is Lowenstein Castle, I think. Hi, it's Steve here and welcome back to Mock It Up, your place for reviews of MOC and LEGO compatible sets. Have you ever bought something that seemed too good to be true? Or know someone who has? And perhaps you know that person really, really well too. I was on an international shopping website during their one-day sale and bought this castle MOC set at a great price. I chose the cheapest, meaning slowest, shipping option, so I had a bit of time to read up on it. Being called Lowenstein Castle, I was thinking that it was perhaps based on a past or present real-world castle, or that it comes from a popular work of fiction. Well, I guess the former is somewhat true, as it's essentially a copy of the Lowenstein Castle set from Bricklink and designed by Raziel Regulus. Unlike the Bricklink set though, this has the expansion that fills out the rear. How this set in front of me came to be sold doesn't sit right with me. There will be no links or mention of the site where I got it from. The incredible creative work done by the designer Raziel is what's on display here. For what it's worth, I've purchased a copy of the building instructions from Rubricable, which sadly only covers the expansion though. There are no instructions available for purchase for the main castle. Let's flip the camera and take a closer look. Lowenstein Castle appears to me as being the home of a lord rather than that of a king or a queen, with its lack of grandeur and pomp and showing signs of repair. Don't get me wrong, it's still an impressive castle, and I'm sure its occupants live a more privileged and lavish lifestyle from those that reside in the surrounding commons. There is an outer stone wall with a wooden gatehouse atop it, along with a portcullis that protects the outer bailey. From this angle, you may be able to catch a glimpse of the stairs that meet the drawbridge that allows passage into what I believe is an inner barbican of sorts, as it separates the outer and inner baileys and does not provide access into the home immediately behind it. The inner bailey with its buildings sits atop a rocky hill. There is a secret passage here which we will explore later. You may be able to make out a somewhat vertical line here. To my understanding, everything to the right is part of the expansion to the original Lowenstein Castle Bricklink set. Here, the rear of the home, along with the rear of the keep, are now enclosed. At the foot of the rocky hill is a little jetty with fishing pole and barrel. I really like the water reeds here that suggest that an inland body of water extends beyond. The half-timbered servants' quarters has the appearance of being a recent addition to the castle's inner bailey, built atop a recessed armoury. A stone watchtower in a similar style to the keep forms part of the rear wall and marks the other side of the expansion. A grove of fir trees and other plants grow below a nearby outhouse toilet. From inner wall to rocky hill and back to outer wall brings us around full circle. Let's now take a look inside the castle, starting with the outer wall and outer bailey, following with the inner barbican and home. Next up being the front and rear sections of the inner bailey, finishing up with the keep. Let's get to it. The outer wall, with its gate, tower and portcullis, forms the entrance to the castle and provides protection to the outer bailey. I wonder if the wood construction of the guard tower is to suggest that it is a temporary structure to be replaced by a more permanent one. Flipping it around reveals part of the outer bailey with its chicken coop, log stack, and mechanism to raise and lower the portcullis. Turning the large tan gear here raises the portcullis. While lifting this lever is meant to lower it, but the gears on mine have a bit too much friction to want to drop it down. There is no path for minifigures to reach the guard tower, nor enough room within it for them to be posed, so it's here more for appearances. The stone staircase leads towards the drawbridge. This clip here, next to the log stack, connects the outer wall section with the other half of the outer bailey with the horse stable. I'm not the biggest fan of how the stable door is done, but with the limited space inside and outside the stable when the outer bailey is enclosed, it's perhaps the best it can be. The outer bailey certainly is cozy. Now up the stairs we go. The stairs from the outer bailey lead us to the foldable drawbridge connected to what I think is an inner barbican, which, like the drawbridge, functions to limit access and provide security to the inner bailey. There is no direct access into the home behind it, with the door here leading into the inner bailey. Removing the roof section reveals a cauldron on a pivot, ready to spill its contents onto unsuspecting intruders. Access to the home from the inner bailey is via this door. So we'll be going this way. I'm unable to easily separate the floors in the home, which is why we're having to peer through it like this. I also apologise that my camera and lighting setup cannot capture the interior space very well. On the ground floor, there is a dining room with fireplace. At the far end of the room, which you probably can't make out, is a very narrow spiral staircase. On the floor between the chairs is a trapdoor that leads to the cellar. There's a larder stocked with food in the expansion to the ground floor. The first floor is a bedroom with what I think is a private chapel in its expansion. On the far side of the bed, which you probably also can't easily see, there is a very small door to give the impression of access to this room via the spiral staircase. So that's the home. Now onto the inner bailey. Here's the front section of the inner bailey with the home and keep in place to give you an idea of how compact the space is. I'll remove them now. The trapdoor on the floor of the home that we saw earlier opens into this wine cellar, past the bat and large spider's web. Is that opening in the rocky hill, which can act as a secret passage into and out of the castle. There's a platform accessible by ladder, which I think is for archers to defend the inner bailey should the outer bailey be breached. This door here opens to the toilet. simple stone well with its water supply below completes our look at the front section. The rear section of the inner bailey is equally small in space while fitting in much detail. To the left is a stone watchtower that forms part of the wall, and to its right, with the appearance of sitting on the wall, is the servants' quarters with its half-timbered construction contrasting with the stonework around it. Inside, there are 2 beds. Beneath the servants' quarters is an armory with weapons and armour. Below ground, this cave with water expands the wine cellar from the front section. Now let's move on to the keep. The keep stands in the centre of the inner bailey. To my understanding, it would be the most secure part of the castle should it come under attack, with the ladder leading up to the door able to come away from it and protect those inside. The rear opens up to reveal 4 levels. There's a cell or dungeon below the ground, a ladder connecting the entrance of the keep to riches and treasures stored above, and a lookout at the very top. We've looked at all the parts of the castle now, so let's reassemble it and flip the camera back for my closing thoughts. I'll try to keep this short as I feel it's been a long video for everyone. There is something really endearing to me about the design of Lowenstein Castle, of how it incorporates so much detail while capturing so much nostalgia. Is it the choice of colour or the choice of pieces? Some designs pile on so much detail and complexity, it's as if they're trying to hide that they are made out of connecting bricks. To me, this design embraces its classic castle roots while being aimed at adults. Raziel Regulus has done an outstanding job with Lowenstein Castle. As always, thank you for watching this video. I've really enjoyed bringing it to you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.